Welcome to our second batch of project reviews. We've been using the Fusion 360 software and the Cura Slicer software with our Ender 5 Pro and the Ender 3 printers. We'll be reviewing some of our second batch of projects. All right, in this episode, we're going to take a look at a Mr. Knives doll. So we've been wanting to move back. Actually, this will be, I don't even know what number Mr. Knives this is. We've been doing Mr. Knives. He's been letting us play with his icon or his character for years now. So we made a Mr. Knives. We did this during the Gizzard Gary early bird chat. He goes live every Sunday over on YouTube and lets people join in to have a live conversation. So while we were in that chat, you'll see some of the text chat scrolling there over on the left. While we were in there, I just shared my screen and I used that multi-hour chat as an opportunity to get in and play with the software and learn how the tools work and what works and what doesn't. And in this case, I attempted to make a Mr. Knives doll. So went in and took a ball and squished it around and then added some tubes and spaghetti arms and squished those around and bent them and put little balls on them for hands. Added some legs, kind of played around trying to get some eyes and a head on there. And then eventually figured Mr. Knives would be pretty pissed if we didn't give him some pizza and a chocolate bar. So again, learning some techniques and the application of those techniques to the 3D model, which could be used for an animation, it could be used for a puppet or something like that, I suppose. In this software, though, it's designed to be sent to a machine. So in this case, we're sending it through a 3D printer, but it potentially could be sent to other types of machines. So we're taking the 3D elements, the parts, and we're creating them, manipulating them, modeling them, and I guess connecting them together, associating them together, putting them together in three-dimensional space. So it's a lot different than the creation of just two-dimensional stuff, although two-dimensional stuff is another pretty complicated pile of things to keep track of. So when we were all done, you have to stop somewhere. We put a Gun Channels logo underneath him so he would stand up. Brought him over to the Slicer software, and that's the software that you use to determine to reconstruct the file so that it heads over to the printer. So once it was in the format or the file type that it needs for the printer to understand it and to start printing, we made a small Mr. Knives that's about an inch or so tall, 2 inches tall, and that one took about 2 hours to print. And then we're printing some larger ones that are probably 4 inches tall that would take 4 hours or more to print. So went in and used the software that you use to create the projects and rendered them. That's where you go in and apply colors and textures and different applications to the surfaces to give them visually and make them more easy to understand and to give you some idea of what a finished model might look like. I would think in this software, again, it's designed to send the file to machines. So in this case, the rendering is probably just for a visual model of what the end product's going to look like. I'm not sure yet if I can send this to an animation software, or if I could save it in another format that could be used by animation software. But I suspect the creation of these files is going to be somewhat similar. And in that case, you're applying skins so that the animation software will know, what the figure is supposed to look like. So in this case, I learned some things that I didn't apply enough portions or segments to his overall body, so I couldn't really get the shell colored the way I would like in this particular type of rendering in this part of the software. But I think I was able to apply the colors and surfaces to pretty much everything else. The candy bar I probably could have spent a little bit more time on. But what we end up with is something that's a lot easier to understand than some of the all yellow versions that we get, or some of the all dark color versions that we get, which can be pretty muddy and pretty difficult to see the details. So in this case, I changed the lighting a little bit, and that applies a different set of look to it. And then at some point, I changed all the green portions to be rendered in jade, so they look like a jade mineral or rock. Back over in the slicer software, I wanted to, or one of the experiments here, one of the learning parts of this is seeing what kind of shapes can be printed with and without support, what kind of support I need to put on some of these underhanging areas, these parts that come out of nowhere with a vertical, a need to have a place to rest some vertical, or you can see how the pizza has a lot of place underneath of it where it needs to have support, and there is no support. So that's a factor when you're 3D printing, is how to set the calculations so that you get enough support for the end product to look good without sacrificing time and material. Material's not a big deal, but the more material you add to the product or the part, the more time it takes. So usually we're trying to put as one little plastic down so that it takes the least amount of time to create the thing. In this case, some of the things like the candy bar and the pizza are very thin, so it'll be curious to see how they came out, or how they come out. They came out okay on the little version. I printed one little version as I'm editing this, but I'm still waiting for the large ones to print successfully. I've had a couple of failures so far. So I'll probably go back, and if I was ever going to make this as a real model, I'd probably want to support his ankles with some infill, and potentially some other parts of him with more inside support. That's a long video, so with this I'll have to end it. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if we should make more videos like this one, or if you have any questions or comments or concerns, let us know. Happy to answer questions about the printing or about the design, or if you have any interest in having us design something for you, check out our gear website store. We do offer the service. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to the comments. GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on Gunstreamer.com or on GunTube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.